All right. Okay. Now you guys can probably hear me better. And let's go ahead and try this. Hold on. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. No, Bill, no, I'm not. I'm in Charlotte tomorrow. Leave tomorrow. Got back from Phoenix today. Off to Charlotte tomorrow. All right. Welcome. Just getting everything ready here for the show. I'm going to take an unpopular position here today, people. I'm going to guarantee you that a lot of you are not going to agree with me. Not that many of you often agree with me. I am often saying things that are summarily unagreeable upon the two. Epic happy. No more football. Congratulations. I had to go the last episode full mantle. Now, I mean, some people might agree with me. I guess we can talk about JJ. You want to know what? Here's what we're going to talk about JJ Abrams. We're going to talk about what it is fair to blame JJ Abrams for. That factors into how excited you should be about the Star Wars movie. Nope. Oh, we banished that song. We no longer open with Tostios. All right. Well, you want to know what? I think it is about time to get rocking and rolling. So, Black Panda. I feel like he already directed a Star Wars with the new Star Trek. I agree, which is why I'm excited that this time it'll actually be Star Wars. And also, I mean, and we'll get to this, but like, I almost kind of feel like it opens Star Trek up. That now Star Trek can maybe do a more Star Trek-y kind of movie. Because those are very Star Warsian kind of movies. And I loved them. I thought they were great. But, like, they are different. They're different than the other Star Trek movies. Okay. Let me get my recording ready. Thank you to everybody who watches live, by the way, because this used to only be live, and then I did a podcast. So if you are, let me get a show of hands there in the chat room. Is there anybody in the chat room right now that only started listening to it via podcast and is now coming to watch it live? Because I know a lot of people that are that have been watching this since I started doing it. But I'm curious if the podcast is filtering other people back here. JuryTalks.com. Again, ladies and germs, JuryTalks.com. Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. That's good. How loud is that? Is that loud enough? Is that too loud? Is that a good? I'm Bagels. First time I'm seeing this. Don't be bad. I think it's gonna be a good episode. I got something to talk about, and I'm gonna again. I'm gonna take an unpopular position. So let's start. All right, I'm gonna start with the unpopular position. Then I'm gonna go into a little segment. I'm doing a segment here today. And then we'll do the JJ Abrams thing. Is it a political position? No. No. I don't think so. Although, really, on these internets, everything is politics. All right. Here we are with a song. This is a song that probably has something to do about heroin addiction because every fucking Stone Temple Pilot song is about heroin addiction. ladies and gentlemen, please, will you please raise a hand to defend the defenseless? Yes, friends, lend your charity to a case that truly deserves it, while the wheels of anger and greed march over true art. I ask you to say, nay, I will not be part of this. I will stand up. I will defend what's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have joined me, Justin Robert Young, on The Jury Show. The Jury live stream if you are watching us live. The Jury podcast if you are listening to this voice echo into your eardrums long after it emanated from my voice box. You heard Stone Temple Pilots' Sour Girl. Somebody wrote a comment on jurytalks.com. Please identify the songs you're playing. Well, all right. There's that one. Thank you. And here, folks, I ask you to stand up against bullying. Stand up for art. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, stand up for Glee against the villainous Jonathan Coulton. Oh, the marauding internet troubadour who's marshaled all of his minions to take on what is but harmless pap on the Fox network. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, truly, he has saddled up his riders and is out forming a lynch mob against the tween entertainment that teaches the world to sing. If you are just coming to this story, allow me to explain it to you. Glee is a show on Fox. It revolves around an a cappella group in Ohio somewhere, if I remember correctly. By anybody's estimation, it had about half a good season, and then it's been kind of crap ever since. But it's good for the segment that watches it. It's tween people, girls. They like songs. They like listening to covers of songs. So really, it's not unlike people who listen to Coverville. You know, like Brian Ibbett. Brian Ibbett and Glee, fairly similar. They feature a show where they cover probably about 4 to 5 songs an episode. They've been on for 4 seasons. There was a brouhaha, as they say here in the industry, over one of those songs that aired this week on the show. It was a cover of Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back, a soulful rendition featuring what looked to be a steel banjo and some real rolling harmonies that took a sweeter side on one of the nastier sex rhymes we've ever heard grace Top 40 radio. Now, as many people quickly found out, it was near identical, including lyrics like Johnny C's in Trouble, to a cover by Jonathan Coulton, which he did for Thing a Week. If you don't know who Jonathan Coulton is, I'm not going to explain it, because Jonathan Coulton's awesome, and you really need to go listen to everything that he's ever done, and really pay attention to him, because he's amazing. And I am being obviously inflammatory by leading into this discussion by saying that we need to defend Glee against Jonathan Coulton. Because the prevailing opinion on the internet, which, again, is one of those things that I always hesitate saying. Because me saying that there's a prevailing opinion on the internet means there's a prevailing opinion on my internet. On my Twitter, on my Facebook, in the news stories that I choose to read. In my little niche of the internet, people are really fucking pissed off about the fact that Glee basically took a song by Jonathan Coulton. Now, what's troubling, while everybody's out sharpening their pitchforks and lighting their torches so we can burn this motherfucker down, is that what Glee did was not even a little bit illegal, best we can tell. In fact, I would, instead of focusing on just this Jonathan Coulton thing, if you are really fucking upset, if you are really fucking upset about this, then we need to do a little bit of research. Because I guarantee that this is not the first time that they have taken lock, stock, and barrel an arrangement of an a cappella cover of a popular song. In fact, all over the country, at colleges, they have these a cappella groups that make these arrangements of songs, and I'll guarantee you that there's somebody whose job it is, sitting in the sunny hills of Hollywood, California, to listen to all these motherfuckers and find out which ones they're going to summarily rip off and put all up on the Glee. Now, they probably, by and large, do not contact any of these groups. They probably just troll a cappella message boards and say, oh, the Songsters of Stony Brook, New York covered Satellite by Dave Matthews Band. Well, that sounds good. Boop. They throw it down to the studio. They recreate it with the actors. So I guess the first point about this that I want to make clear to everybody is that when we're talking to this, Chimera 96 in the chat room. If you're not watching live, if you're listening to this via podcast, just remember to follow me, Justin R. Young, on Twitter. I will let you know what time on Saturday I recorded at. It's sporadic. I don't have a time. It could probably be a more popular show if I had a time. I don't. Let's not get sidetracked. Chimeras 96 in the chat room says DJ Earworm, a.k.a. the San Francisco-based mashup artist Jordan Roseman, pointed out that in 2012, a Glee cover of R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly similarly appeared to be lifted from his arrangement of the song, as did singer-songwriter Greg Laswell. So this is not new. Gigaloop says the real issue is that it sounds like they not only took his arrangement, but also recorded his backing tracks. The problem is that with the license he had to sell it, the license he had his right to sell his version. He didn't have the right to copy. He didn't copyright his arrangement, so other people can use it as long as it's like a Russian nesting doll. His license fit under the ownership of Sir Mix-a-Lot, so he basically bought a tiny little provisional slice for which he could sell his work. But Sir Mix-a-Lot, or whoever controls Sir Mix-a-Lot's music, can sell those rights, the level above that, to whoever they want, including all the arrangements below it, including Jonathan Coulton's. Now, here is my point. We very, very often get upset about this kind of stuff. And very, very often, it fits into our very same narratives of new media versus old media, you know, the powerful versus the powerless. We assign these narratives for which we love to fight on, whether or not they absolutely fit. Could Glee have handled it better? Fuck yeah. Oh my God. Would it have been nice to see Jonathan Coulton on Glee? I don't know. I don't watch fucking Glee. I mean, he could have been, maybe it would have been one of those things where, like, they're playing the song, because I saw the clip, and it's like, the gay kid is out in New York, and he meets this other guy, and they're like, hey, let me come show you what we do. And he's like, oh, I don't know. The one thing about Glee, and I watched the first half of the season, my favorite part about Glee is that they play these just songs. So when they're doing the song performances, it's not like people are reacting unless it's part of the song and they're singing to each other. So what you have is a lot of these characters that just have these silent reactions, like while other people are singing. So it's like a lot of like, oh, that was good. I don't know why I'm making faces and pretending like this is good entertainment on an audio podcast, but for some reason I think it is. But maybe for Jonathan Coulton, they could have thrown him a bone. He could have been a homeless man walking by the little studio that the kids are doing their little sing-song at. And maybe at the end, he's like, hey, you kids making a racket in here? That song sucks. Wink! Would people be more happy if that happened? I mean, really. If Jonathan Coulton was on Glee, let me ask you this. If Jonathan Coulton was on Glee, what would people think? Because I believe there's a segment of this population that would think he was a sellout or sucked. I don't feel like there's any way that Glee interacting with Jonathan Coulton could have been a good thing for people who are fans of Jonathan Coulton. I don't think so. Hot beverages. Why would he want to be on such a shitty show? I don't know. Why is it important that he gets credited if that's the case? I mean, are we doing it for the history books? Zombie Jesus here, one of my favorite commenters on NSFW or any other program, says Glee copying or bullying artists isn't new. Dave Grohl said the creator of Glee was trying to pressure him into, I assume, putting on a song. Only reason people are freaking out is because Jonathan Coulton is an internet love boy. So in response, the internet freaks out. Well, yeah. I mean, and I guess that's my point. My point is that Glee acted like Glee. And Jonathan Coulton, who has made a living in being an anti-establishment artist. That's his gig. That's who he is. He got the best possible outcome that he could out of this. Playing nice with Glee is not the best possible outcome. The best possible outcome is him making a gigantic stink about this. And I'm not saying that he did this disingenuously. Don't get it twisted. I think that he is acting exactly the way that he should and can and has a right to do it. He can scream and yell all he wants. But I don't know if it could have turned out better for him the way everything wound up shaking out. I also don't know where we're supposed to attack Glee. They're a Hollywood juggernaut and a music sensation. The fucking Glee cast has more hits than the Beatles. And that's a fact, like Agnes, Agatha, Jermaine, and Jack. This is a multimedia empire for them. And ripping off a Jonathan Coulton song and buying the legal rights, however sleazy it is, however unprofessional it is, however shittily done it is, you know, it's relaxed, Jake. It's Chinatown. It's what they do. I have a hard time getting upset with, wait, hold on. Whoa, hold the phone. You're telling me that a Hollywood television show fucks somebody in the anus by the letter of the law? That they carved the letter of the law so sharp that the fucking serif fell off? But they were legal by just that much. Look at that little serif. The serif floats to the ground as if a leaf off a rose was just like, boo. It was like the Forrest Gump feather. You're telling me that happened? Fuck! Oh, good Lord. I would have never guessed. Oh, shit, son. Ah, jeez. Which brings me to my first segment. I think I've done segments on the show before, but this is going to be a new one. I had a buddy of mine, goes by the name of Jake Goldman. He writes these letters. They're emails. They're bizarre. He's a bizarre human being. Let me just point this out about Jake Goldman. Jake Goldman is a very weird motherfucker, okay? He's an odd duck, and every once in a while you can follow him on the internet. I believe it's at Internet Dogfist on Twitter. He's just a weird guy, but I love him. I love him very, very dearly. He sends out these emails to fucking, I don't even know who they go to. It could just be to me. I don't know. He calls them Jags Barfman's Transmissions. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a segment. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give to you right now, verbatim, Jake Goldman's Things You Can Yell, Oh Shit Son, 2. Oh, wait, hold on. Man, I'll tell you what.
Nothing wrong.
Let me try that one more time. Here we go. I'm going to edit this out of the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the things you can yell, oh shit, son, too.
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
A guy slam dunking over a really annoying person that deserves to be dunked on.
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
2 lions loose in Times Square.
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
Woman is having knee surgery and they open up her knee and inside is a letter that says, "Joke's on you fuckers, I don't even have any knees."
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
Stand-up comedian who totally destroys a heckler, then marries the heckler's wife right there on stage and then drops the mic to the ground.
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
Funeral where the person inside the grave sits up and starts shooting everybody with water guns and he's wearing a shirt of himself shrugging.
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the final thing you can yell, oh shit, son, to, bees! Bees!
Oh shit, son! Living in America. Nothing wrong.
If you would like to follow Jake Goldman, go ahead at Internet Dog Fist on Twitter or just go to internetdogfist.com. Get on his crazy, shitty email thing. I have no idea what he does. It delighted me so much that I had to actually read it here on the podcast. Something that people were reading or saying, oh shit, son, too. This week, though, we got to talk about the biggest geek news of the week. In fact, this is pretty much, part of the biggest geek story that will, fold out over the next several years, is that the rebirth of Star Wars and that we are going to get new Star Wars movies. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we do have our director, JJ Abrams. JJ Abrams. He of Felicity fame, of course. Remember the Superman script that everybody really, really liked? You know, the one where Lex Luthor was a Kryptonian? People love that. J.J. Abrams. Script writer for Armageddon. J.J. Abrams. We all remember this J.J. Abrams. No, of course, he did all those things. In case you were wondering, go ahead and look that up. But Fringe, Lost, he's an executive producer for both of those. Alias, he was, I believe, the showrunner for. Director of Super 8, Star Trek Into Darkness, Mission Impossible 3. Now, he is probably the most powerful vocal Star Wars fan, outside of, I'd say he's more of a Star Wars fan than George Lucas. I think we can all agree that he likes the Star Wars universe more than George Lucas does at this point. Because I think we can all take a look at the facts of the matter and say that George Lucas fucking doesn't like Star Wars anymore. Like, at some point, it's his baby. He cares about it. He cares about the franchise, and he cares about where it goes, okay? But I think we can all agree that he probably stopped giving a fuck, a passionate fuck. Not a listless, retarded fuck, but no, the most passionate of sloppy fucks for Star Wars a long, long time ago in a county not that far away from where I am right now. So JJ Abrams has weaved Star Wars into literally everything he's done. There's an element of Star Wars in everything, up to and including Star Trek. And he's made no bones about the fact that he wanted to make a Star Trek movie that was like a Star Wars movie he would make. So when Kathleen Kennedy, who is now running Lucasfilm and is now the executor of the Star Wars franchise, was looking for somebody to helm this episode 7, if the reports are to be believed, it came down to two people. One was J.J. Abrams, who we mentioned got the job. The other was Ben Affleck. What the fuck? Man. And do me a favor. Go ahead. Whatever your opinion to that piece of news was, go ahead back in time 5 years, 6 years, and tell yourself that Ben Affleck was going to be somebody that was thinking about directing a new Star Wars movie, and you were kind of excited about the possibility of it. Because I know I was. Like, you watch Argo, and you're like, man, that film is tight. That film knows where the fuck it's going. It's boom, 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 boom. Pacing's good. It's fun. You know, it makes a movie about the Iranian hostage scandal like a fun romp. That's pretty good. Guy knows what the fuck he's doing. I would have liked to have seen his Star Wars. But we get J.J. Abrams, who I do believe, I mean, like, I was thinking that, you know, I would love to see Brad Bird do it. Because J.J. Abrams had sworn up and down that he wasn't going to do it. Cableman76 says, go back 5 years and you could say the same thing about J.J. Abrams. But he was always into geek stuff. J.J. Abrams was a creative guy. Like, it's 5 years ago, we're looking at he'd already done Mission Impossible 3. Like, so, I mean, you could say, all right, they're rebooting Star Wars, J.J. Abrams. Like, 5 years ago, Lost was in full swing. I would have liked to see Brad Bird, but really, like, is J.J. Abrams not a better director than Brad Bird? I think that'd be safe to say, as much as I like Brad Bird. This does a lot of things, and what I'm going to get to, the way I'm going to close the podcast here today is by I just want to go through some stuff about J.J. Abrams, because I'm going back and forth with people on Twitter. I just want to get some fucking facts out, okay? But before we do, here are the ramifications. Number one, Star Wars gets a director for whom, I think anybody who really wants to enjoy the Star Wars movies, who wants to believe that we can still continue to make good Star Wars stories, is very happy with. I don't know why you wouldn't be. Although it's funny, go read the Boing Boing comment thread about this news. It's just like, as if you were to say that somebody was going to get a $500 Sizzler gift certificate for the man who can frown the most. It's just fucking retarded. Oh. And it's always like the same fucking Star Wars quotes like, I got a bad feeling about this, or a Yoda fucking shaking his head. You know, it's like, all right, fine. You don't have to go watch the fucking movie, all right? They're not going to take away the original trilogy. In fact, the fact that Disney has them makes it more likely that we're going to see unedited versions of them. I Am Bagel says, has there been anything about the Star Wars script yet? It'll be more important than who's directing. Well, the guy who wrote Little Miss Sunshine is writing the script, and apparently he's famous amongst writers because he has this pitch, or not a pitch, like seminar's a bad word. He gets up on stage and he talks about why the original Star Wars is such a brilliantly scripted movie, because I think he has it's like 8 resolutions are resolved in like 1 minute, and he like dissects that minute in this really, really, really awesome way, and just shows why like this minute is why we fall in love with Star Wars, and it's because it's very smartly written. So it's like, you get the guy that you want, right? JJ Abrams is the guy you want. He fucking wants to direct it. He wanted to direct Star Wars so goddamn bad he directed Star Trek like Star Wars. And also, it kind of put Star Wars in the place where it should be in terms of franchises. It's a franchise that can roll up to the dude who's saying, yeah, I'm very busy. I enjoy directing these Star Trek movies. I don't want to get caught up in a franchise where I got to direct, one movie every 3 years for the next decade. So no, I don't want to do it. And then Kathleen Kennedy stands up from the table where they're having dinner. I'm imagining a dinner where it's just J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy. Maybe it's like the back room of some very she Hollywood establishment. And J.J. says, listen, I'm flattered. There's no movie I would love to direct more than Star Wars, but I literally can't. I can't do it for 1.5 million different great reasons. And then Kathleen Kennedy stands up and I don't want to get graphic here. She sort of hikes up her skirt a little bit and pulls out a salami-shaped thong that just has "May the Force be with you" written on the side of it. And she just puts it on the table. She lays it there like somebody presenting a sword to a knight. And she just puts it on the table and just looks him in the eye and says nothing. And JJ just looks at that big, bulbous, Star Wars-y cock. And he's like, wow. Oh, my God. That dick. Oh. I can't do it. It would be my dream. It would be my dream to do it. But I can't leave everything I've worked for behind. I'm with Paramount. All my movies are created in Paramount. I can do whatever I want. I get a blank check for anything. I just can't do it. And just as he's about to turn away, because he is a man of power, he is a man who can say no to what he wants to say no to. He is Spielberg Jr., and nobody in Hollywood is as powerful as Spielberg. Just as he's about to turn around, he hears the sound. And that Star Wars dick starts glowing. And that's when he has to turn back around and say, "What is thy bidding, my master?" Ba 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 ba. And then is the montage of him signing all the fucking contracts, and he walks into Paramount and force chokes the fucking Captain Kirk and throws him off to the side. Fuck the press tour for Star Trek Into Darkness. I'm doing nothing but fucking Star Wars from here on out. Or at least that's what I would imagine. All right, here's the thing. I said on Twitter today, if he knocks it out of the park with Star Wars, or at least as a film comparable to the one that he did for Star Trek, is JJ Abrams not the king of the geeks? King! Nobody has a resume like this. Nobody at all has a resume like this unless your name is JJ Abrams. You resurrected Star Trek and Star Wars. Now, I Am Bagels and many other people says that Joss Whedon would have a resume like that. And boy howdy, Joss Whedon has one fuck of a resume. He's got, legendary resume. Huge resume. Right now, probably a bigger and better geek resume than J.J. Abrams himself. But you want to know what his resume doesn't have on it? Star Wars and Star Trek. They don't get bigger. So let me just say that when you fucking put Joss Whedon into that conversation, you are ignoring the fact that I just said the same man will resurrect the franchises for Star Trek and Star Wars. The conversation's over. Drop the mic. And it's two mics. It's a tricorder and a lightsaber. That's what he does. Boom. And then he walks off stage. People are saying, oh, if Whedon gets the Justice League. Not as big. Not as fucking big. He could do every comic property ever. They're not Star Trek. They're not Star Wars. Okay? Yes, it would be comparable that he would be going vertically in doing two gigantic things that were kind of similar. Paul Miller was saying if he were to also resurrect Doctor Who, if Doctor Who would have been dead, and he also brings back Doctor Who, but even then, Doctor Who's a viceroy, man. Star Trek and Star Wars, when it comes to geek culture, the genre arts, they reign as two kings. There's no one bigger than that. Star Wars is bigger than Star Trek. I don't want to hear it. He went the only way north he could go in terms of gigantic properties in the genre world. He will have an impeccable resume should this Star Wars film be good. Now, should it be good? Big qualifier. Because he's got to do a lot to win over the fact that we just went through fucking 3 movies that were sucker-punching nightmares in the prequels. We need to believe that you can do good Star Wars movies again. And if that curse is lifted, I mean, we're living in Star Wars right now. We used to live in a world where Jedis roamed the world. And then they were all summarily killed. That dark art is, he's just a weird old man. Now Wizard's just I can't remember. I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. If he can do it, he brings the Force back to us, to all of us. Meeks Mix Media. They recognize Superman in villages in Africa and not Darth Vader. Superman is bigger than Star Wars. I mean, I believe that that's a straw man argument. If we're going to look at global footprints in terms of movie franchises, I think Star Trek has made more money internationally than the Superman films. But I don't know. I don't know the numbers. That would be my guess. So here we go. Here's what I saw a lot of this on Twitter when I was talking about JJ Abrams. It's, fuck JJ Abrams. He fucking ruined Lost. Lost sucks. The ending sucked. Yeah, all right. He was the executive producer of that. But all praise and hate for Lost has to go to Cuse and Lindelof, the showrunners and the main writers. And for me, it's far more praise than it is hate. But you can't blame them for that. Here's what you can blame them for. Super 8, that shit was boring. All right? Let's just get that out. Fucking Super 8 was boring. Boring. You can blame him for that Superman script. Because that shit was not great. You can blame him for, if you didn't like Mission Impossible 3, which I very, very, very much liked, you can blame him for the fact that apparently every fucking script he writes is the exact same. Have we all noticed that everything is a renegade part of this order that comes back to haunt the people that are now running the order? Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek Into Darkness. You can blame him for the concept of Cloverfield if you hated it. But I think we're all happy that we exist in a world in which we were able to see Cloverfield. It's an inventive idea. Handheld, found footage movie in the middle of a monster invasion. That was pretty cool. I don't think I've watched Cloverfield since I saw it in theaters, But I remember liking it. Thought it was good. So there we go. Just before you say, fuck him with Lost, I mean, come on. It wasn't him. He's executive producer. He's also the executive producer of a bunch of other shows. Many aren't good at all. What was the Black Spy show on NBC a couple seasons ago? That was Bad Robot. It sucked. What are you going to do? It's fine. Produces a lot of shit. Undercovers sucked 14 dicks at once. Anyway, so there we go. Cableman 76, the ending to Alias sucked. Fringe is good, or was good, right? Fringe is done. Over. Did the ending for Fringe suck? I don't know. I haven't watched it. I at least past the first season and a half. I think it's the greatest possible thing, and I'll share this. Every once in a while, I go ahead and get predictions from your friend of mine, Andrew Main. He said, Benedict Cumberbatch, Grand Admiral Thrawn. I mean, that might be a little bit too on the nose, since apparently Cumberbatch may or may not be Khan. I mean, they even sound the same, Khan and Thrawn. But we'll put that in the ether. If it's right, Andrew might be, we want to give him credit where credit is due. FLS Carnage says they aren't doing the Thrawn trilogy, though. No, I mean, they aren't doing those books, but, it's a good character. Like, they're not going to be, Star Trek Into Darkness isn't Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, but, Khan might be in it. Well, it might not be the Thrawn trilogy, but Thrawn might be in it. You never know. We shall see. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this edition of the Jury Podcast. If you joined us live, then go ahead on over to jurytalks.com. Make sure you get the links to subscribe to this either on RSS feed or on iTunes. If you want all the information, just click the About page. And if you are listening to this on podcast, then go ahead and follow me, Justin R. Young, on Twitter. On Saturdays, I record this goddamn show, and you can be here talking to me in the chat room so we can have a bit of a dialogue. Goes back and forth. That about wraps it up for this edition. Until next week, ladies and germs, as I always implore you, please don't die.
Back in 28, when it was built, they didn't realize that they effectively created a dam through half of the Everglades, cutting off.
And there we go. I need new Biden clips. I want more Biden.
The show leads me to drink.
If you have funny Biden clips, if you have more Biden clips, go ahead on over and put it on the Diamond Club Reddit, reddit.com, or Diamond Club. Unchained, yeah, no, we gotta have Unchained on there. I want a fucking plethora of Biden clips, man. I want to end every episode with a Biden clip, because that dude's fucking crazy. Oh, it's gonna be great primary season. Hillary's gonna be back. Biden's gonna be there, like a super confident Biden. Whoo! Yeah, teal deer is fallow. Teal deer was an idea that I had before this, where I wanted to make it more newsworthy, and then, like, I can't do prep, man. I can't promise to do prep and then not do prep. So, Diamond Club. Diamond Club's where I want everything to go. NSFW stuff. So I want to make it simple, man. Stop making all these fucking fiefdoms. Epic Abby, my pick for Republican in 2016 is Chris Christie. He's my favorite out of the gate. A person I think that will do well. Fat president, man. We have a real likelihood of fucking a realistic idea of fat president. Man, been a while since we had fat president. Woo! No, Chimera 96. No, I know. I'm not saying that I didn't tell you to make the fiefdom. You did. I had the idea, and then literally like 2 weeks later, I wound up like going out to interview for the fucking Go Game job. And it was like, well, I need to be doing a less complicated show as opposed to a more complicated show. Yeah, man. Fat president. Woo! Fat president that appeals to on the Republican side, that appeals to independents. Could be Fat Rick. Will Fat Rick be back? Maybe Fat Rick will show up. He's like, if this fat thing's in, let me just go. Man, I thought that Chris Christie was going to do the fat thing, that I would do the fat thing, and maybe he can elect me Secretary of French Fries. Fat Rick Santorum. I love keeping gays out of the marriage halls and cake. Fat Rick Santorum. Tonda Gossett, don't say poor healthy addict. No.
No, it's
She has to deal with this.
true.
She has to deal with me. She's the one who's dumb enough to move out of here.
The wine helps.
Indeed. All right, folks. Well, we are gonna peace out. I think I'm gonna try and do another one of those beta podcasts with Brett, and hopefully we'll get that up on SoundCloud. Follow me on SoundCloud if you want to listen to those. Well, yeah. If you like Online Ethicist, you can go ahead and @reply Online Ethicist with things that you find on the internet that bug you, behaviors that bother you, and we will talk about them, because Online Ethicist is coming back better and bigger than ever. It's going to be a YouTube show now with skits. Hey, everybody, we're going to do skits. SoundCloud.com/Justin R. Young. You check that out. SoundCloud.com/Justin /Justin R. Young. Oops. Maybe it's Justin Robert Young? Oh, yeah. Adventures of Young Rounceville. SoundCloud.com /Justin Robert Young. That's where you can find my ass. All right. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to go to sleep, and then I have to fly to Charlotte. I love you.